Welcome. So I've been injured, been recovering from knee replacement surgery. So have been absent from um, videos for a while, but I thought I would throw something out today. I'm going to call it core on the floor. So I'm not able to get up and down super easily right now from the floor to hands and knees or to standing. So we'll do some core on the floor, abdominal, back, hips, and hopefully whether you have something going on that's limiting your movement or you just want some extra core work, this will benefit you. So we're going to start on our backs. And just take a few minutes to, settle in, stretch it out, find your sense of your body on the floor, sense of where you are in your body. I like to begin by pressing through my heels and reaching the same arm up and over, opening the side waist up. Just moving this way back and forth through each side. And then you can bend your knees, take the soles of your feet to the floor, and gently let your knees move back and forth. Just windshield wiper action to work in your hips, open up your space in your low back and your pelvis. We'll be working with the hips today quite a bit and strengthening and lengthening in the hips. So my teacher talks a lot about stopping before we start. So even when you come to the mat, this pause before we continue, right? So now you might take your feet about hip distance apart, a little bit closer to your bottom. And then as you inhale, just press and lift your hips and sweep your arms behind you. And then exhale, roll that down. So just a little wave action undulation in your back. Keep the back of your neck long by just keeping the chin slightly reaching towards sternum. And then the next time you press up, just reach the right arm back, turn your head to the left, back down. Inhale, sweep the left arm back, turn your head to the right. And return, and do that a couple of times. Great. And then keep the right leg bent and take your left leg long and draw your right knee across your midline on the inhale. Reach your right arm up behind you, pinky up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, float the knee back to center and let your right elbow come back towards your side waist. Inhale, draw your right knee across your chest, reach your right arm long, and exhale, return to center. Okay, and switch it up. Take your right leg long, left knee bent. Inhale, draw your left knee across your midline. So you come into a little bit of an arch and then release back down. And then as you do that, extend the left arm. So you're getting a nice full opening along side waist. You can take your gaze over to your left armpit, your left bicep, maybe even up to the left hand as you continue this movement. If you can, keep your the edges of your feet, so the inside edge of your left foot as you come across midline, keep that inside edge connected to the floor and come back to the sole of your foot. Good. All right, finish that up. And then take the soles of both feet to the floor once again, interlace your hands behind your head. Right, and here just begin a little bit of pelvic tilting. So on your inhale, you can draw your pubic bone away from your navel, pressing a sort of the sacrum area into the floor. And then on your exhale, draw your pubic bone back towards your navel and press your low back into the floor. And just go back and forth that way for a few times. And even though this is a very simple movement, I would invite you to, on the exhale, draw your navel up and in and squeeze or hug in on your side waist, your hip pointers. Imagine hugging those in towards center. So your inhale kind of releases and relaxes all that as you arch away from the floor and draw your pubic bone away from navel. Exhale, press your low back into the floor and squeeze or hug everything into the midline. We just start to engage the front, the core. Okay, inhale and exhale. Okay, and then we'll keep the low back pressed down towards the floor and take a few rounds of breath here. So low back is pressed into the floor, and inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Okay, release that effort now. And now just stack your knees over your hips. Stack your knees over your hips. Now you should feel for a neutral spine here. So there's a little bit of space between your low back and the floor. Inhale here, and on your exhale, round up. Bring your elbows in towards your knees. Inhale. Come on back down, spread your elbows wide. Exhale, round, tuck your chin round and point your knees towards your elbows towards your knees. And come back down. And we're going to do this really slowly. Exhale brings you up. Inhale, come back down, open up. Press your elbows into the floor and inhale as you come back down. Exhale, elbows towards knees. Draw your navel up and in, squeeze your side waist in. Try to relax your head in your hands so you're not pulling with your neck. Okay. And then the next time you come back to the floor, just rest there and just begin to march the feet. So you'll take your left foot to the floor, pick it back up, right foot to the floor, pick it back up. Feel the engagement in the core as you march your feet. Notice if you're holding your breath, can you keep your breath flowing? And then just tap the heels. Okay, and once you've done, I don't know, 10 to 12 on each side, then you can either stretch your legs long. If you have a block handy, take your block and set it underneath your sacrum. And one leg at a time or both legs, just to give some relief to the hip flexors here. So you could be just lying flat on your back, or you can place the block underneath your sacrum. And see if you can relax your hip flexors here. And one more round of breath. Okay, then swivel the feet back to the floor. If you have a block, take that out. You could use your block here as well. You're gonna stack knees over hips again, and you could take the block between your legs and squeeze the block. And we'll take our arms behind the hands behind the head again. And now we're gonna come into the obliques a little bit, so a little twisting. So as you exhale, you're gonna leave your left elbow planted on the floor and just draw your right shoulder towards your left knee. And then exhale to really set down, and then repeat that. So here, you don't need to bring the right elbow over, just aim the right shoulder, keep your elbows wide, left elbow stays on the floor, and aim your right shoulder over towards your left knee. Again, relax your head and your hands so you're not using your neck muscles and straining there. Okay, and we'll do 6 to 12 here. It's totally up to you, but you want to get to a point where you feel a little fatigue. If you're squeezing the block between your legs, keep that action going. So, don't lose that action of squeezing, if possible. Good. And then when you come back, just relax your feet back to the floor. You could stretch your legs long again or put the block underneath your sacrum. We'll try the other side. Okay, so right arm stays on the floor. Pin your right elbow to the floor. And as you lift, you aim your left shoulder at your right knee. Exhale. Inhale brings you back down to the floor. And when you've done the repetitions that work for you, release your hands down to your sides, take the block out, soles of the feet to the floor, stretch your legs long if you like, and let your hip flexors take a little relaxation. Great. All right. We'll set the block over to the side, and we'll just have a little bit of break from that. So interlace your hands, your fingers, and reach your hands up towards the ceiling with your palms facing you over your chest. And bend your knees again, take the soles of your feet to the floor. On your inhale, press your hips up into a little baby bridge. Feel your shoulder blades firmly on the floor as your support. And then on your exhale, as you slowly roll down, reach your hands up towards the ceiling. And feel your shoulder blades separate from one another. Good. Then inhale, draw the low back just slightly away from the floor, so neutral spine. As you press up, really press your shoulder blades into the floor and find a really nice platform. And then on your exhales, you roll down, reach your hands up towards the ceiling, spread the shoulder blades. The back of your neck long, so chin is pulled in towards sternum. Now, when you're pressing up, let's bring our attention to the legs, leg muscles, in particular the glutes. So as you lift into your bridge, engage the glutes. You can pick your toes up and feel how that engages your hamstrings. This is all part of core, right? So you can have your hamstrings engaged, isometrically draw your heels back towards your butt, right? And then on the exhale, roll that down, press your hands up towards the ceiling. Drop your feet, drop the soles of your feet to the floor. Let's do the same thing. So inhale, as you lift, engage the glutes. Nice wide shoulder base. And then lift your heels to engage your hamstrings. Let's bring the arms out to cactus arms and continue to press and lift. Toes are lifted, hamstrings are engaged, your arms are in cactus arms, pressing into the forearms, lifting, pressing, nice wide base underneath the shoulders. And then you can slowly roll this out. And taking one leg long, taking the opposite leg long. Sweep the arms overhead, stretch through your middle section. All right, let's get into, we're going to get into the hips a little bit. We'll come back, probably back to the abdominals in a little bit, but come on to your side. And we'll work with the clamshells a bit. So stacking your knees, and you can have your head in your hand. This bottom arm, if you could have your elbow pointing straight back, so your body's kind of in this nice line, or you can rest your head in your arm. And then your knees are not all the way up, they're more at a 45-degree angle. Here we go. So keep, instead of rolling back into this, keep your body nice and straight. If anything, your chest is kind of facing the floor. Feet are, sides of the feet are stacked, and then we'll open and close the clamshell. You'll feel this in your outer hip. You could probably put your hand on your hip butt area and feel which muscles are engaging here. Let's do 10. Keep breathing. And it's the last time you're going to hold. You might even take your hand and try to press down, holding that. Feel that engagement in your glutes, outer hip. Okay. And then release that and take now your top leg and stretch it out. It takes a little bit to get that to happen for me. And then bring it back at about a 45-degree angle behind you. Keep rotating your upper body towards the floor, and then we'll lift up. You feel this right in your gluteus minimus, right at the head of the femur. And you want to avoid moving the leg back and forth, but just up and down. Toes are pointed back towards the shin. It's like you're doing a little window washing there with your foot. Again, 10 to 12. And you can sweep the leg forward and line it up over the bottom knee. Same thing, we'll go up and down. Feel the work here. I'm just feeling the work in my hips. And then once you've done a number that allows you to feel that work, you get some fatigue in your hip, you could pull this leg back and take a quad stretch. I can't do that yet. So quad stretch there. And then we'll come to stacking the knees once again and coming up onto your forearm. So you're in the same orientation and you've got I'm on my left side, so my left forearm across the short edge of the mat. I'm going to allow my waist to sink down towards the floor. And then I'm going to draw my waist up away from the floor. Allow my waist to sink down to the floor. And then draw my side waist up. So I'm using my obliques to lift here. And so really feel the work of your obliques. Now, you can go ahead and lift your hips at the end as well and really feel that work. Just have your hips lifted off the floor slightly. Get my shirt out of the way. All right, and you can really feel the work of the obliques if it doesn't hurt your shoulder too much. Okay, let's swivel this around to the other side. Well, I'll swivel, you can just roll over. So now I'm on my right side and stacking my knees once again, and you can come all the way down to outstretched arm or make a little nest with your elbow. Okay, and then here we go. We're gonna do the clamshells on this side. Another way to make this a little bit more challenging is to put a TheraBand around your knees, up here, right, and just give a little more resistance. Yeah, and so again, you're doing as many as sort of allows you to get some sensation of fatigue in the outer hip. Great. Then we'll straighten the leg. And so you kind of have to roll forward a little bit, flex toes back towards ankle or flex toes back towards shin. And then this is our gluteus minimus. Sweep that leg forward, line it up over the bottom knee, and then same thing. And you're going to start to feel some fatigue shortly. So when that kicks in, do a couple more, and then you can take a quad stretch. Looking forward to being able to do that on the other side soon. Okay. Okay, and then come back on to your back. Ooh, okay, all right, back onto your back. We'll take, so there's a couple different ways you could do this. You can start with your hands underneath your, right underneath your hips. All right, palms down. And we'll take, and the legs out straight. So you could do this one leg at a time. So lifting to about 30 degrees, 45 degrees, all the way up and back in the same order. So go one leg at a time. Or you go both legs. Okay, so you can repeat that, right? If it's pretty doable with your hands underneath your butt and you don't feel any pain, you can release the arms out to your sides. Again, one leg at a time. And I'm going a little bit quick here, but you can go at any pace. Actually, the slower you go, the probably the harder. Remember to engage, pull everything in, like you're squeezing, keep the back of your neck long. You're gonna try this with 2 legs. Both legs. Good. And then the last position would be arms overhead, right? So you can go one leg at a time. And again, I'm going pretty fast. So if you wanted to do like a 10 count, that would be a little bit more work. Both legs if you wanted. Okay. So I'll let you do a few rounds just like that on your own. You could stop the video if you wanted to and play with that. And then we'll take the soles of the feet to the floor, arms alongside your body. All right. On your inhale, sweep your arms overhead and lift your legs up towards the ceiling, soles of the feet up towards the floor. And on your exhale, bring everything back to the starting position. Okay, you can do a few of those and then we'll just isolate a couple of things. So with the soles of your feet on the floor, take one hand and put it underneath the small of your back. Okay, so find like a neutral spine here, neutral lower back. And then just inhale your right arm back and bring it back to the starting position. Do that a couple times and see if you can keep your pelvis, your low back just nice and steady. You can try it on both sides. Okay. Okay. Now we'll make it a little harder. Stack knees over hips. Press your low back into your hand and maintain that neutral low back. And then right arm. See if you can maintain that nice stable position in your low back. Turn the other side. Okay, now you're gonna keep that position and you take the hands out. If you had a little teeny pillow or something to put under there, you could do that with both arms. Okay, come back to the resting position and now extend the left leg out and reach the right arm back. Come back, keep that neutral position. Right leg, left arm. Right arm, left leg. Left arm, right leg. Beautiful. And whenever you've done a number that works for you, we don't want low back pain, we don't, but you're feeling that engagement, I'm sure by now. And then when you've done a number that works for you, come back, lengthen your legs, take the block underneath your sacrum if you need to, relax the hip flexors, relax your breathing for 2 full breaths. Okay, and then let's just roll over onto our belly. Make a little pillow with your hands. Rest your forehead on the pillow. So we'll start here by just inhaling and lifting your head up. And exhale and take your head back down through your hands. Inhale, just lift your head, lift your chin. Exhale, head floats back down. Now keep your hips and your belly on the floor, but now inhale, lift your head and lift your chest. Now you're engaging the muscles in the mid-back, the thoracic spine, and exhale back down. Head and belly, belly and legs are firmly, hips and belly are firmly attached to the floor. Inhale, lift your head, lift your chest up. Feel your mid-back working, your glutes are engaged, and then exhale, lower back down. Okay, inhale, lift. Exhale, come back down. Okay, bring your hands alongside your waist, forehead to the floor. Inhale, lift your head, lower it back down. Inhale, lift your head, lift your chest, and pull your elbows back in space. Engage your glutes, lower back down. Inhale, lift your head, lift your chest, pull your elbows back in space, feel the work in your whole backside. Engage your glutes, press your tops of your feet into the floor, and lower back down. Slide your hands even further back. Inhale, lift your head, lift your chest, and pull your elbows back in space. Feel your low back working. Exhale, lower back down. Turn one cheek to the mat. You can rock your hips back and forth here. Turn your other cheek to the mat. Come back to center. Arms are alongside your body. Inhale, lift your left leg, sweep your right arm forward. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift your left arm out in front of you, sweep down your right leg. Release. Inhale, sweep the right arm forward, lift the left leg. Exhale, release. Sweep the left arm forward, lift the right leg. Release. This time as you inhale, sweep the right arm forward, left leg, you can lift your head. Keep the back of your neck long. Release. Inhale, lift the right leg, sweep the left arm forward, lift your head. Release. Do a few more, lifting the head if you choose. And then last time down, make that little pillow again. You can bend your knees here and take that windshield wiper action. Good. Roll back over onto your back. Stack your knees over your hips. Arms are out to the sides. Find a nice neutral spine. And then just let your knees softly move to one side, but not go all the way to the floor. So you feel your obliques engage and then come back to center. And then let your knees float to the other side. Don't let them go to the floor. Hold them in that space. And just go back and forth a few times. Keep the engagement. So we're not going all the way to the floor. We're just going back and forth. And keep the obliques engaged as you go back and forth. And then we can take the feet back to the floor. Take a couple of cat-cow pelvic tilts here. And then a couple of options for just releasing some of the tension in the hips. We'll take a figure four. And bring the left knee over to the right thigh. So we did this on the back. We call this a figure four. When we do it on your tummy, we call it pigeon pose. So if you wanted to be on your tummy right now, you could have your left knee bent, shin lined up with long edge of mat or short edge of mat, and the right leg long. Let this works as well. You can just simply bring your knees into your chest. You can take your left hand through the space and kind of tug a little bit on the knees, but feeling for some sensation in the outer left hip. All right. 2 more rounds of breath. See if you can relax into this. If you wanted to go a little bit longer, do a little bit longer hold. You could stop the video here, do a little bit longer hold. I'll keep moving though. Maybe I can do the other side. We'll see. There we go. Maybe down here. This is the knee. So yeah, not going to happen in my body super easily right now, but you could do this figure four on the other side. Okay, or pigeon on the other side. So impact for me with knee replacement has been some of the more twisting actions in the knee don't feel super great. When you are finished with that, and again, you could have stopped the video there to just do a little bit longer. You can come into any version of Sukhasana or sitting that works for you. Trying to figure out what might work for me. So Sukhasana, you could stack the legs, the lower legs in fire pose. I'm finding a position that kind of works for me. Sort of an open Sukhasana, and then just coming forward slightly again to get some sensation in the outer hips and opening. And the way that I'm set up here, I pretty much feel this in both hips, but I have my right leg on top of my left foot, so I feel a little more sensation in that outer hip. So I'm going to switch that up and just see if I get it's a little bit hard on my knee, so. So stay as long as you like in that position, that the hip opening position. And I'll say goodbye. And I hope it was beneficial. And I hope to see you again soon.